Okay, so real quick before we start, I'm sorry that I don't have background gameplay. I was trying to get it, but due to time restraints, and we just wanted to put this up before the weekly reset. There's not going to be any background gameplay in this. We also kind of mess up our intros, and there's a few spots during the actual podcast where there's no talking, where we have to edit stuff out. So I'm sorry if it seems a little bit wonky, but this is all of our first attempts at an actual podcast. We hope you like it, and we'll be back next week. The goal for this is to be have it so that it's up every Saturday or Sunday, just depending on our schedules. So we'll definitely let you know. Thank you. Enjoy. Just go. Uh, hey, my name's Agent Orange. I'm Matt. I'm one of your three hosts. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is. Who goes first? Me or you?
You go first, Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, my name's Uncle Howie, and I'm also your host.
And my name is Christian, otherwise known as OMGItsVaj, and I will be rounding out the trio.
We're all members of the Order of Saint 14. We're a Destiny clan worldwide. I believe most of our members are in Europe, but all three of us are North American, so bad representation. All right.
Sometimes I feel like we're the minority.
Yeah, we definitely are. I think we have like a total of 7 North American members. You know we have an Australian member?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just
I didn't
Richie
know
one.
is
that.
Australian,
Yeah, I think it's just one.
and Bubba is too.
Oh, okay. I've seen him on before. I
Mm-hmm.
actually think I played with him
Yep.
once. All right, you guys want to get in some news?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the first time that we'll be having a podcast since Rise of Iron. So it'd be pretty vague to just have just what do you think of Rise of Iron. So we'll narrow it down a little bit here. I know uh, Badge and I talked before, but Wrath of the Machine, like it? Don't like it?
I've only done Vosic, or Vosic, however you say his name, because I'm not high enough to do the whole raid yet, but from what I've done, it seems a little bit too easy to be called a raid, if you ask me.
Oh, trust me. Phase
That's from
two,
my point.
phase two of Axis, it's not fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that, and what you're speaking to, I think that, it is progressive. It allows people to get in and at least see and experience some of the content. But there absolutely is a stopgap as you continue based on your light level.
Yeah, yeah, there definitely is. Um, I know the first time that I played it, I got up to the Death Zamboni, and then we couldn't beat that. So then I had to get a different group after I've raised my light by like 2 or 3, and then we beat the Death Zamboni, and then we got all the way to Axis Phase 2, and we were just beating our heads against the wall for about an hour or so. I don't even know. So like what was the group that you were running with? Were you like 360 something?
yeah, all of us were about 360, 357.
And you couldn't. So what? You got up to Death Zamboni?
No, I got to the first phase of Vosic, then I had to leave. But from what I did, it was pretty good.
Ah, it is. It doesn't really feel like it feels like a combination of strikes with mechanics.
Yeah.
It, and some of them are like everything that I like this because everything that you learn through the raid you carry over. So like the very first encounter, those bombs, you use those throughout the raid.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, and so I do think that it's like a gentle introduction into skills that will be needed throughout the raid. And I have to give kudos to Bungie on that because you can absolutely parallel, the actions and the skills that you're using in this segment and how it trickles into your next encounter. Absolutely.
so I think Vag, you're the only one that's actually beaten it out of the three of us. And you've beaten it multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah. So So you've basically, well, I do too. I know all the mechanics, but you have them fully, to my understanding, you have them fully mastered.
Well, so yeah, I think that, so in my head, yes, I mean, I know how to delegate and what roles and responsibilities each lane should provide as far as support or DPS. Uh, I think that with this raid in particular, like before, you could just line everybody up and say, okay, you're a hunter, you're going to do this. You're a titan with touch of malice, you're going to do this. With this particular raid, uh, I think that you need to develop a more firm line. I'd say a more firm line of conversation and communication. Because it's not necessarily skill based, but it's the ability to effectively communicate and cover gaps when that person can't handle what's being thrown at them.
You brought up
If that makes any
you
sense.
brought up something about standing here and doing this with Touch of Malice, as if we were doing King's Fall. Did you guys notice any specific weaponry that was being brought back? Um, like for me, it was Sleeper Simulant all the way. Um,
No, I didn't really notice. Sorry, you
No,
go.
go ahead, Jordan. No, go ahead, Jordan.
I didn't really notice anything from year two, but I did notice the Gallarhorn coming back. It was really strong in the raid from what I did.
yeah,
That's the only weapon I really noticed.
the three weapons that I saw the entirety of the time were everyone's exotic slot was either taken up by mostly Galahorn, sometimes Sleeper Simulant, and then like one or two people I saw with a Red Death, just for that last phase of Axis.
Yeah, and so I can speak to the sleeper because I am absolutely a sleeper guy. Uh, it's in my heavy. I think though that we're going to see the gap broaden. If you're able to hit crits each and every time with the sleeper, it is absolutely going to do the most damage, and it's extremely effective in all encounters. But you have to hit your crits. If you don't hit your crits, or you get a little sloppy, or you're not the best at aiming, the galley's going to win hands down every single time with the tracking and then the Wolfpack rounds.
Yeah.
But if you're just going for pure DPS, a good sleeper, yeah, it's game on.
Also, Galahorn's a
It's where the magic happens.
Galahorn's a little bit more what do you say? Versatile.
Forgiving.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's forgiving.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean it tracks, and then you have your Wolfpack rounds that do additional damage. So I mean, as long as you get it in the general vicinity of his upper torso, I mean, you're going to maximize the hit of that round.
Yeah. Also, like I noticed, I was in middle for one of the times, and I would always get the cannon. So I'd go down there with the shotgun, and I'd just pop invisibility right next to the uh what do you call it? The captain, and whoever was standing behind me on my respective side, they would just fire Gallahorn after Gallahorn at the captain until he was dead. I'd pick up the thing, and then we'd move on with our lives. So
Yeah, and we tried something different last night on our last run. We uh we both equipped the new medallions, the new ornaments that came out this week that allow you to charge your other team member's super.
uh
Uh,
yeah.
so when we were equipping those, we would literally each side, whether it be left, right, or back mid, we were able to charge each other's supers simultaneously. So every round that the captain came out, one of us had the super and would call it. So whether it would be, the Titan and the hammers, or the Warlock bringing the three globes of death, or myself with the golden gun, we would absolutely time it so that we saved our galleys for that third and fourth round for heavy DPS, so nobody had to pop a heavy sense.
Okay. So I know this probably isn't your field of expertise, Jordan. So we're gonna try and wrap the last part of this up. Two bullet points that I have put down right here: hard mode and Outbreak Prime.
Oh God,
Hard mode.
don't I have something to say about the Outbreak Prime though?
Hard mode expectations. Christian, what do you think? Cause I got an idea.
So I think the one thing that is like blatantly obvious to me the through is after you do your monitors, you're going to go into a room that has these lit panels. In the middle of those lit panels is actually your entry into the final boss encounter, stage 1 of that encounter. At the bottom of that, where you hit, you see a specific grid, and there are 3 sections on it. So 6 players on a team, and then there are the lights, and there are 8 lights that surround the square, and it has a diagram for 6 positions. As soon as you hit the ground, you see 6 squares lit up. I am so excited about hard mode because I think that it's not only going to bring additional puzzles, but like for the final encounter, I think you're going to have fewer totems. So now you have, 4 to 5 honest tries. I think that it's going to limit those. You're going to have to do pure DPS. With the first encounter, I think that it's also you're going to have a limited amount of time to get him down. You're going to have 2 rooms or 3 rooms total in order to take care of the encounter.
Okay, so let's go to my crackpot theories. First encounter, the very first one where you're charging up the things, I think each one has to be charged up separately, and I think you have to time the bombs. The bombs that you throw at him, the Vosic, when you yeah, I think you're gonna have to do that to drop his shield. Um, I'm not sure what they can do with the actual Vosic itself. Maybe make it so that you can only fit 3 players in a safe room or something, and you have to split up or something. I'm not sure. I don't know what you can do with that. That Zamboni is the same thing. I have no idea. But Axis, you can do any number of things. You can make it so that, say, Scorch Cannon and the Shock Servitor spawn in the middle. Make it so that the person who's doing bomb has to pick up the void bomb. So make it so that there's one of each element, something going on with one of each in every part. Then again, there's sometimes where shock spawns in mid and then is across the map. So I don't know how that worked, but I would like that idea. Make it more communication driven. Outbreak Prime. Jordan?
Well, since I'm more of a Crucible-focused player, I can't really say anything on the side of the PvE part of it, but from the Crucible, it's gonna be in the top tier weapons for a while.
Yeah.
That's all I really have on it.
Yeah.
It's good crowd control.
Alright. So, wait, Jordan, your mic's a little bit like echoey.
Alright, hold on.
We can cut this part out if we need to.
Still echoey?
Yeah, a lot less. It's better. Alright. Anything else on Outbreak Prime? Anything you guys got?
I haven't had enough time with it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool quest. I did most of it, or I did most of the part where you can get to the quest. I didn't actually do the quest yet because I failed. But I like the general concept around it. I've seen people do the quest.
Yeah, I think that, like we were talking offline before the podcast started, I think that the opportunity that we're going to see come up, it's just like myself. I have the quest, and there's a certain amount of the quest in which I can accomplish with just me being a hunter, I can accomplish with a warlock and a hunter and be non-discriminatory. It doesn't matter if they have the quest or not. But then you reach that certain point in the quest line to where you're required to team up with a warlock and a titan that have that quest as well. Uh, and I see all the time on the threads and the requesting for assistance that people are needing warlocks or people are needing titans, but it seems like the majority of the people that are completing it are hunters. So I'm curious to see over the next, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, as more and more people get an opportunity to get their light level up and proceed through the quest line, to how that's going to play. I have seen the weapon. We played with it yesterday in our trials. We also took it into the raid and PvP. PvP and trials, it's absolutely fun to go in with, but I don't see with those high speed in your face encounters that it's advantageous. But it absolutely is an AoE crowd control machine in the raid.
Yeah. I can attest to that. You brought up a good point. Trials is back.
Yes.
Ooh, Nelly. Jordan, don't freak out.
This map, yeah, this map is pretty. I don't like this map at all. It's way too one-sided.
It's doors. It's doors.
I have one word
if you
to
didn't
sum it
have
up.
the
Cafe. It's like whoever rushes and controls the cafe, or either entry point to said cafe, is going to ultimately control the match.
Yeah, if you didn't have the spawn on the escalators, there's like a 75% chance you would lose the game.
Can I just say something? And I think this is I did last year around this time too. I was really into it. This is the best time for doing trials or Iron Banner because everyone is trying to figure out what they're going to infuse into what. So you'll see people who are running shotguns and snipers that don't typically run one of them, or you'll see people that are going through and they have a lower light level, but they're really good. So it makes for like these oddly balanced matches, and I like it. It just doesn't seem like they chose the right map. It just doesn't.
No, this map is. It's a map.
Yeah, I feel like I would have rather seen any of the year 1 or year 2 maps come back rather than this. To be honest, I don't really like any of the new maps.
Well, one thing we did yesterday was when they would hit escalator, we knew that they were taking cafe. We wouldn't push them. We would literally just go back and let them hang and let them come down the corridor. So after we didn't rush, after we didn't push them, then they would start coming after us, and we were holding bottom subway by the cars and making them come to us. It's so funny. Like, we had 5 wins in a row, and then we got the other spawn, and I was like, this is just utter madness. How are we ever going to do this? But once we learned not to push and just to force them to come to us, the encounters got better. But I still don't think it was a wise choice, a map choice for the first trials.
This is personally, it scared me off of doing trials. I was gonna do it, and I'm like, I got a really nice rolled PDX 45, and I got a few good snipers that I want to try out, and I got the palindrome, the god roll, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, let's go, and I looked at the map, and I'm like, it's one of the new maps. No, I'm not doing this. I'm like, I'll save my time. It's not worth it to me.
So since we were talking about that, and you're talking about your god rolls and whatnot, what's been your favorite weapon? And with the new exotics and legendaries that have dropped, have you significantly seen another weapon take the place of Old Faithful?
Yes. Here, I'm actually gonna log on to Destiny right now. I was on Netflix. I was watching Luke Cage. Oh, good. I love that show so much. Um, so with I just full disclosure, coming into Rise of Iron, I had 3 hunters. Um, 2 days ago, I used the Spark of Light to bring a Titan up to level 40. He's now at like 365 or 6 max. That's with like all the best gear that I have on him. Um, I have a Warlock who's level 15 who I'm trying to power level. Um, and I have a 367 or 368 Hunter. I can tell you that I have a different loadout for each of them. I have a different setup for PvP and PvE for, well, both of them that are at PvE raid levels, but I will have a different setup for all of them.
I do too. I do too. Hawksaw is still my old go-to when it comes to PvP and Discord. But I'm seeing myself use more scout rifles than I did in year 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, right now, if I were to go into Crucible, I'd be running with Palindrome, uh, Conspiracy Theory, and probably, like, Truth. Or maybe just, like, a secondary exotic, like, Invective Hereafter. I really like Hereafter's scoping abilities, but I don't run exotic primaries as much as I think I should.
I'm a last word noob, so
Mm.
I usually on my hunter I'll use the last word or 1,000 yarder, but not forgotten. But on my other character, I'd go with more of a pulse rifle, matador party crasher kind of build with Sunsinger or Stormcaller.
Okay.
My hunter's more my laid back character.
Yeah.
I haven't really changed any of my loadouts at all. I don't change loadouts.
What about artifacts? Because with the new memory set of artifacts gives you some rather overpowered abilities, dare I say. Turning enemies or minions of the darkness into allies temporarily, just to have them shoot you in the back, like 30 seconds later. It's happened.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh yeah. Yeah, we laugh because you melee that one boomer and then he starts fighting for you and then you forget about him and before you know it,
It's like,
yeah,
what's shooting
he's
me?
he's just taking you out. Yep, absolutely.
So are you guys running any of the new artifacts? I know you said you were running the one that charges your supers.
Yes.
Uh, is that how's that running?
Yeah, I'm using.
I like it when so if you're doing a raid or a strike, I love it. If you're just general PvE, it's insignificant. I'll run Coyote's Luck or something else that will just boost my stats.
Okay, so my this is something that I actually love doing, and I just recently got it. I think the other day. Memory of Fellwinter. Lose your super but gain one extra grenade and melee charge, and small boost to all stats. Small boost is 149 discipline and 129 strength. So, yeah. Um,
I'm gonna have to look into that one.
yeah, dude, I love this so much for just, like right now, I'm doing the daily heroic. I just run through everything. Like nothing in PvE can stop me because I'm a Night Stalker. And what do I need my tether for if I'm not going against bosses and I'm not part of a fire team?
Yep.
So I couldn't love it more. But it's just personal preference. And also, the only reason that I don't run Shade Step in PvE is because I run the one that decreases Shadow Shot. So now Shade Step is open with that.
Yeah, I run Golden Gun with the exotic helm that gives you 4 shots instead of 3.
You play with Phage Symbiote?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Is that for PvE?
It's my normal go-to in PvP.
Okay.
PvP.
Okay, I was gonna say. like Celestial. Like Celestial seems like a much better idea. And
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In strikes or raids, Celestial's better. But when you're doing PvP or trials, those 4 shots, I mean, we've all had it where that second or third shot we miss and we're thinking, man, I just wasted it. But if you've got 4, it just gives you this false sense of confidence to feel like you can take on 3 with 4 shots.
yeah. What do you guys all main hunters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You all have bones, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you ever try running better control with your bones?
No.
No, no, just being honest, I don't.
A better control jump with Bones of AO is my new love. I was listening to, shout out to another podcast, um, Planet Destiny podcast. I was listening to Patrick Casey, who's the biggest hunter nerd that I know of, and he was talking about how he runs it, and I'm like, that seems like a decent strategy. Let me put that on. Went into a match of PvP. I think it was just sweaties, just random sweaties. I can just jump to any place that I feel like it with absolute precision control. I love it so much now.
I might have to try that.
Yeah. It's very like the hunter jump always to me felt like you were just hopping like a bunny and had no control over it. This, I can jump to the left with my normal jump all the way to the right with my second jump, and then jump further to the left with my third jump.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to
Nice.
try that.
Yeah, it's fun. Um, so moving on, I know you guys aren't Twitch streamers. Not really by any stretch of the imagination. We don't do Twitch that much. I may stream occasionally here and there. I don't know if any of you do.
No, I
I just
try it,
I
but
yeah, I stream for my friends and that's the extent.
Ah, okay. So TwitchCon is going on right now, and I believe Cosmo and Deej are both there representing Bungie. Do you expect any announcements? Hint, hint, hard raid. Hint, hint.
I think what I would like to see is I would like to see them do more collaborative efforts with the big Twitch guys. It feels like, at least in my opinion, like with Rise of Iron, it feels like they held on to the embargo too long,
They did. People,
and it really throttled the people that we've grown to love to watch and has the majority of the Destiny community behind them. That they weren't able to share or talk about content in advance at
well,
all.
that's a very double-bladed or double-edged sword. Um, on the one hand, you go, okay, yeah, people want to see their favorite YouTubers, Ncooch, Bife, people like that, um, MTAT, yeah, all those guys. They want to see them, but at the same time, the thought behind Bungie holding that is, well, A, there's more suspense, and B, it helps the little guy out. It helps the smaller YouTuber that doesn't have or wasn't invited to go to Bungie. But then again, if you're saying that, then why invite them in the first place? Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I, with hard mode, so we did some explorations and we're trying to figure out on one of our runs yesterday of what changes or differences we might expect in hard mode. Uh, One thing that is interesting me is they have now changed the basically uniform look of armor based on normal mode raid and hard mode raid. That there's going to be 2 unique armor sets that are raid specific.
yeah, because most people run a shader, and having it be the harrowed Kingsfall gear, just be slightly black, doesn't make any difference because we want to turn it every shade of purple. Yeah. makes sense. Different design, different texture.
Hmm.
Makes a lot more sense like that. I'm asking because I'm genuinely curious. Do either of you know when the next Iron Banner is? Should I say the first of year 3?
They haven't confirmed it. The only thing that they confirmed was that they would speak to Iron Banner after the completion of trials.
Ah, all right. So for all we know, it could be after this next reset.
I mean, it could. So my expectation is I really feel for them to be competitive in the marketplace and get the content out that they want to get out uh, by the first or second week of November. I really think that within 2 weeks we're going to see Banner, and I really think that within 4 weeks we're going to see hard mode, because they already explained that hard mode was created before normal. They went back into the hard mode that they had previously designed and made it more playable for the average guy.
Yeah. It's
So they already have hard mode developed.
I
I mean, obviously they're going to want feedback from the community and see how people have played this. But hard mode, in essence, I mean, in its natural, yeah, it's already done.
I very much hope that they don't say, "Oh, we created it before normal mode," and then it's just like, "Oh, hey, it's the same thing as King's Fall," where it's like there's one or two slight changes. It it seemed like when they were talking about when they made King's Fall, and when they were
Hmm.
discussing it, they're like, "We designed King's Fall hard mode first, and there's different mechanics, and there's just the way that they spoke of it made it seem like it was something spectacular when it was like, oh hey, you'll occasionally blow up because of a different aura. It just
Well, one thing that I was noticing too is, and not to overspeak you, but like with King's Fall, and the difference between it and Wrath of the Machine. Wrath of the Machine has 3 encounters that count. So in hard mode, it would be so cool, like when we do our jumping puzzle, or when we go into the room after the monitors, to have additional encounters in those areas that spawn content that we've never seen.
yeah, yeah. That's what we all thought for King's Fall too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but at least with King's Fall, I mean, you had totems, and then you had uh, the awesome org, and then you had the sisters, and then you had Oryx.
Is that an is anyone else getting an echo?
He's echoing a little.
Jordan, do you mind fixing your mic again? I'm not sure what's going on. It may be Skype for all I know. Skype's not
But
being
I would
helpful.
like to see them bring in an additional component to it, not necessarily just changing up how you played that particular encounter, but bringing in a whole new component to it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them say, "Oh, here's a technically fourth boss." Technically speaking, it's fourth since the Zamboni. I count the Zamboni. Um, what's next on the list down here? I miss anything? Oh yeah. I
Mm.
know we slightly touched on what's changed in our loadouts. But still, I'd like to hear both your loadouts. So we heard a little bit of galley, sleeper simulant, um, between them. Last word. Anything mind shattering?
The new snipers have replaced Spindle and Thousand Yard Stare for me,
I
and that surprised me. That really surprised me. So, but not forgotten and Devil's Dawn both. They, depending on the damage and what the modifiers are, they've replaced my go-to guns for sniping. Because I'm a sniper. I mean, I'll take shotguns in when I have to, but I would prefer uh, hand over feet, sniper over shotgun anytime.
Yeah. Jordan, your You gonna say something?
We're talking about PvP or PvE?
Anything, really.
Yeah. In the Crucible, I've noticed a lot of variety when it comes to snipers since the nerf a few weeks ago back. Yeah, that's all really.
Yeah. So, um, as far as loadouts for me go, I've actually switched to a lower damage sniper for PvP because of the sniper nerfs. Um, Also, this one has unflinching, so yeah. I like the more it. If I'm not gonna be able to shoot people out of supers, um, and I have the same exact role, I want more more ammo. So I can kill 13 people as long as they're not um rezzed as compared to 10 when they are being rezzed. I can res snipe with the 1,000 yard, whereas I can't with I forget the name of it. It's the Vanguard sniper. It's one of the new ones. I have not tried Devil's Dawn yet, and I need to. I haven't gotten around to doing that yet.
So, we were talking about the changes and what does. I mean, let's give kudos to Bungie in that, with year 3, we saw not only a raid auto rifle that has Firefly, but now an exotic pulse rifle that has its own iteration of Firefly.
Yeah, it has Firefly 2.0.
And the other thing that I was noticing with a lot of the guns now, they've put more emphasis on staggering enemies and stunning them
High caliber rounds.
versus just one hit kills.
Yeah. Yeah. High caliber rounds. I actually see that on a lot of scout rifles now. People
And
play
it's
with it.
pertinent. It's absolutely pertinent. I never thought that it would be, but it does stagger them, and they stop running at you, and it allows you to get that one shot off at the head that just you know sends them on.
Yeah. Um, we got anything else Destiny related? Anything else you want to touch on?
Not really.
All right. You got anything, Veg?
No, I just think that like overall big picture, I think that I'm pleasantly surprised with Rise of Iron. I like the direction they're going. I know they have the commitment. I'm just excited about seeing them execute.
Yeah.
Because just what little content they've thrown at us thus far, uh, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I can't say that I disagree. I can't. Okay, so you want to move on to some more clan-related news? Okay.
Sure.
Um, First bullet point here. Congratulations on you guys getting adminship. Um, Raid admin and PvP Adam for um, Veg. Um, or what am I saying? For Christian and Jordan, respectively. Um, Good job on that, guys. I'm interested to see more so how the PvP is gonna go, um, because with um, all the members that we're getting, eventually the PvE madness that is the launch of every expansion will eventually die down, and you're gonna have a lot more people heading your way, Jordan. So.
Alright, nice. Because I have a pretty dead roll right now.
Yeah, it's
And I think with trials here and with Iron Banner around the corner, and then like Craig spoke to earlier, Clan Wars. I think that once people get to a comfortable light level, that they're going to want exploring it because mechanics in PvP is going to help you in a PvE strike or raid. So I think that the people are going to want to continue to grow, and PvP is going to give them that outlet.
Yeah, it's before Taken King or before Rise of Iron came out. So many people were just specifically playing PvP, and then Rise of Iron came out.
I told you to both of them!
Hold on, we're gonna mute Jordan for a second. Rise of Iron came out, um, and you saw like a huge flip-flop of people going from PvP to PvE, for the sole purpose of that was what's new, and people like PvE, but it gets stale. You don't want to run the same heroic 15 times in a row. So,
Well, and what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to better understand builds.
yeah.
Because I could see them in a micro environment, get a true snapshot in, say, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of how that directly impacted my abilities and my play. And so it allowed me to build better characters.
So, like speccing properly in layman's terms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm not even, talking about, reaching tier 12 heights or whatnot, but understanding what areas you need to focus on, whether it be, discipline, whether it be int, whether it be strength. I began to understand in the environments where I needed to put my points, because I could see a direct impact on my play and my ability based on how I had my character spec'd. Like, I absolutely do not worry about int anymore. Like my raid build, its int is 34 because I'm going to kill enough, and then with the artifact, ornament, medallion, however we want to name it or define it, I build a super no slower than I did previously. But my grenades and my smoke, or my knife and my grenades, just charge insanely quick.
Yeah. Yeah. What else we got here? Okay, so for the people that are probably just watching this straight off of YouTube, because that's where this will be eventually uploaded.
Mhm.
So probably like a little brief rundown of what exactly the clan is. So as I said before, um, or as we said in the intro, we are members of the Order of Saint 14. Um, worldwide, mostly Europe, a little bit in NA, a little bit in Oceania. Is that the proper terminology for it?
You talk about like
Australia, New
the
Zealand.
Asiatic region.
I think that's a proper term. Oceania? Whatever. So we're worldwide. You can find us, I believe, just by searching us up, our group, and then you can find our clan through any of the members on Bungie.net or through the Destiny app. As we said before, raid admin is Christian and PvP admin is Jordan. We're both North American. There are, I believe, total of 3 other admins and several raid Sherpas that can help. And what are we up to now as far as members go?
We cut it off initially at 53. I think he opened it up to where we're in and around 60 now, or just over 60.
All right.
But we just didn't want to lose that feeling of community. And I think that, while we're speaking to the clan and the growth and demographics, ultimately what we are is, we are here as administration just to continue the growth of our clan. So
Yeah.
development, and just to be a resource. I think that all too often not that people come in and they don't really know what they want, but then once they have an idea of what they'd like to explore, they feel like they don't meet the criteria. I am constantly reinforcing it in chat and reinforcing it with random clan members that I play with. Your light level is insignificant. If you have the drive and the ambition and you're willing to give it a shot, we're there for you. Because eventually you'll reach that point to where the light will turn on and you'll realize, hey, I understand this. Now I have what I need to get it accomplished, and we can go out there and just wreak havoc. But until then, I don't want them to lose the community aspect.
Are you talking as to skill or actual light levels, like 365?
It doesn't matter. No, it absolutely doesn't matter. Like the first two raid groups that I brought through with the clan, I was the only one over 360.
That's good.
It doesn't matter. Like I firmly believe, and I'll say it over and over again, the first two encounters until you get stage 2 of the final boss, 350 up, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, it will be. I've seen that firsthand. We had a guy who was, I think, um, 354, who subbed in for the Vosic fight because somebody had to go and we just didn't feel like LFGing someone in there, and the guy was already in our party. So we just ran with that. And we made it through, no problem. We made it up to the Death Zamboni, and then
Yeah.
he left, and we got someone from LFG, actually.
But I don't want people to think like they have to meet a certain criteria. I think that might be a culture that was created previously with other social media outlets or networks like LFG or the Destiny app, setting all these expectations or stipulations in which to, get into an event. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to learn it and you have some time, if it allows me to load it up, we'll go in and have fun. I mean, that's the extent. That's just as easy as I can say it. If you're high enough light for me to load up that activity, we'll go in and explore it and have fun.
Yeah, I know that, just speaking from personal experience, you don't, if you join a clan because you want to do PvE, but you're terrible at PvE, don't don't sit there and stress out about what to do. You can just ask, and that doesn't just go for the order. That for anyone anywhere. If you don't know what to do, or you're too scared to do something because you think you're too light or too low of a light, or you don't have skill, quote, um, it it really, it doesn't matter. You do it anyway. I remember.
We're
Yeah,
not
we're not
elitists.
we're not gonna sit here and go, I'm not running the raid with you. You're terrible. Like, yeah, we're human. We'll probably get frustrated at a point if we wipe, but hey, it's fine. We'll pick back up and do it again. So that's my little anecdote about that. Like, I used to play Call of Duty a lot. I was terrible at it, and I decided that I wanted to play the skill-based matchmaking playlist. I was terrible at it. I still did it because it was fun and I wanted to compete, and I did it, and I eventually got better at it, and I got good, and I was in one of the top like 4 or 5 ranks that was possible. So don't don't sit there and say, oh, I can't do this. You can. You just need help. Ask for it.
Yeah, and whether it be the community or our clan, that's the thing right there. Is we're here to help and we're here to serve, but we don't know what you need until you ask for it. So just don't hesitate to ask
Yeah,
us.
that's a perfect way of putting it. Um, so Jordan's not here. He had to go. I think he's eating, actually. Odd. He just ate like an hour ago. Um, anyway, I'm trying to think of what else we can get to. Here, let me bring the show notes up. We've already gone through most of this stuff for Destiny news. Um, Oh, okay. Miscellaneous news. Um, gaming news in general. Working on any projects, that sort of thing. You doing any of those? Interested in any of those?
So, so gaming news you're
Yeah.
interested in. Uh, I play both consoles. I'm extremely excited about Gears of War 4.
Ooh. I can tell you personally, I've never played a Gears game. I have watched a lot of playthroughs. I will be watching a playthrough for Gears 4. I will be watching it. I will be looking at that. I can tell you what game I am excited to get my hands on finally after weeks of waiting is once there's a lull, like a sort of you get to the point where okay, there's been a few Iron Banners, there's been a few trials, or there's been a Iron Banner, there's been a few trials. I'm at like 385 on like one or two of my characters. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna play the Batman Telltale game. I'm definitely playing that. I love Batman.
So you're excited
Yeah,
about
I
Batman?
think the second episode, I think they call it episodes. It just launched and I spoiled it for myself and I watched the first 10 or 15 minutes of it and I'm excited to watch it or play it rather. So, I'll be doing that as soon as there's a break in the um, wealth of stuff to do for Rise of Iron. And there is, it's a wealth of stuff. Actually, how do you feel about that? So, 30 bucks for Rise of Iron as
Hmm.
compared to 40 for Taken King. Do you feel which
Do I feel like I got my
yeah,
$30 worth?
and 40 for Taken King. Do you feel like that? Cuz you actually had a year to think about Taken King whereas you've just had a few weeks for Rise.
Uh, I enjoyed taking King, but it wasn't the direction that I wanted it to go. But I feel like it's coming back in Rise of Iron.
Okay. So like do you feel like a $30 price tag for Taken King would have been better?
So okay, so it's we reached that we reached that stopgap, right? To where Taken King to me raised the bar in accordance to skill, ability, and light level to a point to where the average player could not obtain it in a reasonable amount of time. You had to do far too much grinding, and you had to rely on so many relationships just for the opportunity to play particular content that I think with Rise of Iron and knowing that a blue is going to max out at 365, and or 340 and a legendary at 365, that I think that once you get in those areas to where you're consistently running content and you're farming and getting a lot of Ingrams, the light level comes a lot easier. It was a lot easier for me to go from 335 to 375 10 times, 100 times easier than it was for me to go from 305 to even 320 or 325.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. It felt like it was small increment like it didn't feel like it was going very fast. At times it even felt like it was sluggish, but just comparatively to when you're going from year 1 to year 2, as far as year 2 to year 3, the transition to year 3 is much faster. I liked it because
Well, and so I don't feel like, yeah, and I don't feel like it's getting to the point to where you can just push an easy button, right? It's not a pay gate. So it isn't like they decided to allow you to buy light levels. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to play independently and reach a point to where you can do the content.
uh, you just opened a whole can of
That's the
worms.
most important thing.
Hey
You
Gates.
can do the content. Well, yeah, and I mean, so transparency. When I unlocked my book, like I'm ranked 13 or 14 now. I'm 13 because I'm one away from my shotgun. But when I unlocked each piece of armor, I went and bought silver because I wasn't satisfied with not getting ornaments in uh, my radiant boxes. So I paid for the fire in my armor, but I was willing to do so.
Full disclosure for me as well. I did buy ornaments because I thought that Rise of Iron was also a $40 DLC. So I bought a $50 PSN, and I was just gonna spend it on like a $10 game. Came home, it's like, oh, it's $30 actually. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, here, let me buy a whole bunch of silver, and I got a whole bunch of ornaments, and so there's an odd discussion going on inside of Destiny and inside of the player base where it's a lot of people asking questions about what are you willing to have paid, and so Radiant Treasures and Sterling Treasures to an
Hmm.
extent, you can just you can just as easily not buy them. You can
Right.
theoretically not buy them.
It's cosmetic. It doesn't impact the
Yes.
game.
There is, though, a I don't want to say workaround, um, because it's not that much of work, but you can technically buy reputation. You got reputation boosters. Those will make your rank go up. I believe it's double. It feels like double. And those will give you,
Not sure what it is, what the actual like mathematical number is as far as how it
it could
increases.
be lower or higher. I'm not sure. Um,
But that's what I use my silver for now. So I bought the ornaments for strictly cosmetic, indulgence. But what I use my silver for now, and I continue to buy silver, I use it for boosters. So when I have friends that get on, like within the clan, and they say, hey, we're running heroic strikes, if I don't have boosters on me, then I'll just run by the kiosk, buy a 3-pack, and make sure that while we're playing, a booster is active.
yeah. And there's people that do not like that, that strongly oppose that because it edges near pay to win. Um, or some variation of pay to win. I'm of the mindset of I'm fine if so there's two basic arguments. There's I'm not okay with anything where I can be killed by something that you need to pay for. And then there's another argument, which is mine is um, I don't want to be killed by anything that is stronger than I can normally get. So I'm fine if you want to sell like a garbage roll next big thing for 100 silver. I don't care. You can go ahead. I don't care. If you want to sell a gun that shoots rainbows and farts, I don't care. Go ahead. Like I don't care about any of that. You want to say it's exclusive to paying? I don't care. Go ahead. But if you're going to ruin someone's experience in PvP because someone else decided that they're going to buy something, that is just wrong. That is the end all be all. I could care less about cosmetics or microtransactions. Yeah, they're probably bad for the community. Every game has them now. It's kind of a necessity in order to please corporate. So,
Well, no, I don't feel like it's that way. I mean, that introduction was made many years ago when we looked at microtransactions. And if we as a culture and a population of gamers did not embrace microtransactions, they would no longer exist. So I think it's up to the developers and the community itself to decide what they are or are not willing to accomplish with pay gates.
yeah.
We as a culture and as a community of gamers, we've made microtransactions what they are today. If WoW or others had put microtransactions in game and they had failed miserably, we wouldn't be faced with that question now. They'd be like, no, it doesn't work. We're not even going to attempt. We're not going to try it. but we have accepted microtransactions into the community. And I'm at the same thought path as you are when it comes. I don't want to pay to win,
Yeah.
but if it gives me the opportunity to utilize the time that I have available to play, I'm already going to be in the game playing. I'm already going to be doing that specific activity. If by doing that specific activity, I can gain 10, 20, 30% more in what I was already going to do to begin with, then I'm willing, to throw some coins in that direction.
Yeah.
But I absolutely don't want paid exclusive content, whether it be guns, whether it be abilities, whether it be ornaments that are only available or artifacts that are only available with silver. I don't want it to be a pay to win environment, uh, but I will support boosters because I think that just maximizes the time. And when you come out, I mean, it's nice to know that you can go in, and if you've got an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes to burn, that you can pop a booster, go and play, and then by the time you return to the tower to see what goodness Bungie has revealed to you, you have a Vanguard or a faction reward waiting on you.
Yeah. Since we're on the subject of making people mad with our own opinions, there's been some news that's actually been gaining some traction about possibly wiping our character progress in Destiny 2.
Hmm.
What do you feel about that? How do you feel?
So I feel like Destiny and through its expansion, we have been able to increase. If they wipe, personally, I'm fine with it. What I would like is I would like for Bungie to acknowledge the investment that we made into Destiny 1, whether it be, a shader or something thrown our way that says, hey, just like the moments of triumph, right? So I think that if Bungie gives us something to acknowledge the time, effort that we spent in the first one going into the second one, I don't need to import my character. And I don't know if that's going to be in line with the meta of Destiny 2. I don't know if they're going to want to continue in the same direction or tweak it. And I feel like if they tweak it to an extent to where we get new character classes, new subclasses in a different type environment in which to play and explore in, I don't necessarily want to do the same thing that I've been doing for 3 years. I'd like acknowledgement for what I have done with previous titles, but I don't necessarily want to take the same character into a brand new experience. I'd rather start vanilla.
Okay, so this may sound confusing. I want my same character. Like I want to have like if I buy Destiny 2, say it comes out right now, right? I have a teleporter or time machine, whatever. I um I time warp to whenever Destiny 2 comes out. I boot it up and it says welcome Agent Orange, agree to the terms and conditions, yada yada yada, and then it's like boom, you create a character. I'm not okay with that. I want my orange-faced exo male to come over with me. I'm fine if you want to take away some of the gear and say like it's different or like we're going to put it away in the vault and you have to earn it again because otherwise it would just make for really stale content if you were already automatically leveled at vanilla. It just wouldn't make any sense. But I want something more than just a shader. Like I want it like maybe go about it like this. I go to whatever here's before I say this. There's a I forget where I found this at, but there is someone that said character wiping may not be that bad because maybe the storyline of Destiny is Destiny 2, right? You got like an opening cinematic where it's like Fallen or taking over or something, and then you hear "Wake up, Guardian." You wake up, and then it goes, "We've been separated for 200 years," and Dinklebot's standing there, and he's like, "Yay, let's go fight Fallen again." Whatever. So it's like a complete wipe. You can do a whole bunch of story. You can do a whole bunch of branching story paths with that. Like you died for realsies again, and your ghost found you again. You could do a whole bunch of stuff with that. So maybe later down the line, like say you completed year 3 Moments of Triumph, or you completed any of the years of Triumph, you have access to a legendary gun that nobody else does, or skins, or something other than a shader or an emblem, please. Just something.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's like, so they've introduced ornaments, right,
Sure.
with
Yeah.
Rise of Iron. So obviously we know that within the content that that's something that they're able to explore and successfully put out to us. I don't know if going into their next big adventure, I want to play the same thing that I've played for 3 years.
I
I mean, I absolutely, like you. I don't think that just a shader or just an emblem is sufficient.
Because people have put
But if we got a cool ornament, or if there was some type of homage, I'm good with it.
people have put like thousands of hours into this game, and it's
Mhm.
to the point where if you're gonna say, "Wow, look at all this stuff," you got all this stuff from every part of Destiny. It's like you've completed the raids hundreds of times. Guess what? Dude who just bought the game has the same exact stuff as you. I don't think that's. I think that'll make people mad. So I'm saying like we are very much in the part of the audience of we could not care less because we grind this game year in and year out. So we won it, and it's to the point where like up until this point, all of our character progress has transferred over. It's not like Call of Duty where, yeah, sure, you've been playing it for 15 years, but every new one that comes out, your character gets wiped. You don't stay Prestige Master every single Call of Duty. You have to earn it again. So I'm
Right.
fine with that. I need a few things for it. Mainly, I need to know that it's happening before the reveal of Destiny 2. Like I need Bungie to come out and say, "Do not expect your characters to be taken over to Destiny 2 sometime in like the next 6 or 7 months." Because if they're just like, "Oh, here's a trailer for Destiny 2, it's coming in a month." Guess what? You're not carrying your characters over. People are going to be mad. But if you give people time to like settle down, it'll be fine. You just can't drop a bombshell on them like that and then be like, "Hey, next week go buy Destiny 2."
They have said though that they do want it to be more of a MMORPG, that they want to develop the social spaces to where you can actually communicate with people. It's going to be more in line with like Elder Scrolls or WoW or any of the traditional MMOs, and it's going to use a completely new engine.
Okay.
And so I'm excited to see where they're going to take it. And I don't necessarily want to be premature in setting expectations for what they're going to deliver me. I'd like for them just to take care of my baby and deliver it to me when they're ready. I think it's the same as in the professional world. There are people that seek compensation or different types of rewards for good behavior or exceptional deeds. I'm of the mindset that I just want acknowledgement. So, however they choose to acknowledge the time or the effort that I spent in their first title, I just want to be acknowledged in the second.
Yeah,
I don't need to go out there and lay waste day one, but I at least want them to have a wholehearted thank you in there somewhere, and an acknowledgement for what I did for them in Destiny One. And it's not as myopic and self-serving as not just for me, but the community as a whole.
yeah. I mean,
I think that the community itself deserves more of an acknowledgement of what they have contributed to Bungie and the Destiny experience, because it's the community that has made Destiny what it is.
yeah. It really has. I mean, you look at some of the fundraisers that we've done. I think it's what, um, how many, how much money did we raise for the most recent?
It was over
Yeah,
500,000, over 500,000.
yeah. So you look at this and it's
So I
it's
mean,
crazy.
yeah, but I mean, I'm excited. So I mean, I don't. It's just like, I don't expect to go someone and say, I want magic to happen, and I want the most impressive piece of anything that you have ever delivered right placed in front of me. But hey, there are these stipulations and these timelines, and I have these preconceived notions and expectations.
Oh, well, I do. For everything that I go into,
I have blind faith. I have blind faith, and I want them to acknowledge, but I want them to do what they feel like they need to do and take it the direction that they want to take it, and not necessarily allow the community to steer the entire project.
yeah. And having Bungie have control over this, having them say this is what will be best for Destiny, I believe them. Whatever they think is honestly best for it, I will believe them 110% in it. Um, I just part of me feels like the people like all right. So if you look at all the people that actually have like 1,000+ hours put into the game, they want their characters to be wiped in some way or another. There are people that like me that want the face and like the way that your character is made, like your character creation screen. They want that to transfer over. I think everybody should. It just seems like a natural thing. Like you've spent hundreds of hours doing this, you should want this. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. But it's the casual people, the people that play like an hour or 20 minutes a day that just do a heroic or two and then they get off. They're going to have absolutely just completely different expectations than what we will. And that
As long as they have a seductive alien race in which for me to choose in character
stop
creation, I'm good.
it.
That's my only. Everybody has always teased me for 10+ years of this gaming and fun experience. Every single title that offers me the opportunity in which to play as a female, I am always a female, and she always has certain attributes. And if I can make her appealing galaxy wide, I am absolutely going to do so. And so that's in the character creation. As long as you have a little button that says, "I want the seductress," I want her to be an alien race, and I want her to be amazing, then I will check all three of those boxes and start from fresh. It doesn't matter.
Wonderful. That's that's one of the best things I've heard all week. And I heard
Just
Jordan explain to me um, why he thought that I was a terrible person. Not the Jordan that we were just talking to, Smoke Devil.
mm,
I heard him tell me why he thought I was terrible, and it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. But that just topped it. I You said seductive alien race. We'll just ignore that first word in there. Fallen, maybe, probably not. No,
awoken.
no, no,
No,
no,
I'm
no. I'm
awoken.
saying Fallen as a playable race. I doubt it'll happen. Just lore
Hmm.
wise, doesn't make sense. And Bungie and their lore, to be honest, they can retcon it whenever they want. They've done it for small things, even in Bungie or even in Destiny. Like I know that they've retconned some of the things where it's like, oh hey, people have created theories that were semi well accepted, and then Bungie just came out and said, nope, that's not how it is. So they could easily make it so that we can play as the Fallen. I doubt it. I think it's much more likely that we'll get a different humanoid race.
What about the strangers?
All right, well, we're cutting that part out. 114 mark.
Yeah,
I
yeah. So the question that I had was, you know, I think that we've spoke about it, others, but you know, I'm still not satisfied with the storyline of the stranger.
um yeah. Yeah, they could definitely.
So what if we gave them an opportunity to explore that? I mean, that would be a completely different world and completely different environment and a completely different.
Yeah. Um it could it just I don't know. It seems like everything from Vanilla was setting something up that they just kind of forgot about. Like everything from Vanilla either set up something that we have or something that they just blatantly forgot about. So,
See, and I don't feel that way. So I had experience with Bungie all through the Halo franchise, and they would continuously drop little hints and place things in there trying to be inconspicuous, and then later on develop those, and then you just have your mind blown. So I don't think that any of these things that Bungie has placed in their game is something that they did without significant thought going into the placement of that. That's just me.
yeah.
But I think that they wholeheartedly placed everything in the game with purpose.
And they did. The stranger is definitely there for a purpose, but it, when the release of Destiny came out, everyone was like, "Oh, well, they've just blatantly cut stuff out to sell it to us as DLC," and then they just didn't. And it seems I'm wondering if their plan was to save it or if they did it out of necessity, because there's obviously things that they're saving, but I doubt that because obviously, Destiny 2 was supposed to launch this year. Instead, we got Rise of Iron. I'm trying to think like nobody thought Lord Salad Bar was actually going to get an expansion. Like nope, nobody was really questioning that. Like if you would have brought that up in year 1, they'd be like, "Oh, you're crazy." Or they would have been like, "Well, let me look at the grimoire first." But I'm wondering if they've simply forgotten about some of their plans or just not acted on them. I'm concerned. I want to know what's going on behind Bungie's doors, and because I like what they do. Like I can't give a single complaint. Like I like the way that they did all the stories except vanilla. So I'm puzzled.
I think that when Bungie first delivered and they broke off and declared that they were in fact doing Destiny, at that point when it was in its early inception, they said that it was a 10-year franchise. So if we're looking at this in year 3, we still have 7 years of development.
Yeah.
So I think that the first 2 we're going to lay the groundwork, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. I still don't think that anything was done without purpose.
No, it definitely.
And with
I'm
it
not
being
disputing that.
and with it being a 10-year commitment or promise to the community, uh, I'm sure that we will continue to get little surprises.
Yeah.
I'd like the old Strikes remastered. It doesn't have to be DLC. I mean, I just like for me to be able to play all of my Destiny content in year 3.
The only strike that we're missing is Nexus Mind. Because they brought everything else back. They either brought it up in year 2 with the Taken King, or they brought um the Archon Priest back in the April update, if I'm not mistaken, and they brought the rest of them up in year 3. They brought the Summoning Pits, and it's escaping me right now.
That's true. We did play the Summoning Pits for the first time the other day.
So
It did finally get in the queue.
I'm not actually. I don't believe that our what do you call it? The what is the one where you have to beat the Archon Priest? Something run.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't think that's actually in any of the heroic queues. I've played at least 30 heroics in like the past week and a half. Have not played that a single time.
No, I think that like the Hunt the Archon, that one, I think that I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we played it in year 3 or not. I'm not sure.
It's up to
To be honest with you, the last 2 weeks everything's like melded together.
yeah, yeah, it kind of is.
It might have been in the grind session leading up to Rise of Iron.
It is up to light level. I know it because you can still get the shotgun from it, and it's with skeleton keys. You can do that. Um, but I haven't seen it in any of the rotations, and I very rarely see summoning.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that you touched on. That's the only thing that's frustrating me right now when it comes to Rise of Iron content is the drop rate for skeleton keys.
Oh goodness, yeah.
I can complete 30 strikes and get 1 key.
Yeah, it seems like Bungie likes messing with the um what do you call it? The economy. So like if I want to go and I want to buy the gold truth ornament, whatever it's called, that's
Mm-hmm.
25 silver dust that I need. That means I need to dismantle 5 ornaments. So, yeah, do the math. It's 1 per sterling treasure. So, I that economy part is out of whack. Um, actually, speaking of
Yeah, so I suspect that they'll do some adjustments in the coming weeks just to stabilize it.
adjusting the economy though, if you don't allow people to character transfer over to Destiny 2, like the second actual launch of Destiny, then all the problems with people having thousands of strange coins will just be completely negated. That's actually I didn't think about that. Because you have people who are like data who just do not care about Xur anymore because they have hundreds of hundreds of 3 of coins and thousands of strange coins. Have you ever seen his inventory? It's ridiculous.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not to that extreme, but I usually limit myself to 200 strange coins buying heavy weapon cents per week.
Yeah.
So I'll usually buy 1 or 2 Ingrams just so that I can shard them to add them to my shard inventory in case like RNG just shines its light upon me and I get some amazing exotics that are god rolls and just insane light levels above what I currently have. But I use heavy cents to level up my faction. So I'll buy 200 every week and then just immediately dump them into the faction. And then when it launched, I sat there for like 30 minutes and I probably dumped 500 or 600 coins into cents
Yeah.
just to try and get my faction rewards up.
Yeah. All right. How long have we been going? Hour and a half. You want to start wrapping this up?
Sure.
Okay. Um. So, any closing points you got, or is that gonna be solely up to me?
No, no, I think that the only closing is I think that overall the community itself and the clan itself is only as strong as its members. We're here to help in any way that we can. The only thing that I request as a closing point is not only the community but also the clan. Get involved, and if you have questions, concerns, or want to play content or want to experience something that you have not yet tried, reach out and give someone a shot. Because everybody in the game stepped into that room for the first time not having a clue.
Yeah.
And we owe it to ourselves and everyone else to give everybody that opportunity to step in that room and experience it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll agree with that. So I think my final closing point would be, as far I'll do the same thing. I'll touch on community as well. Um, the the community is the community of anything is much stronger if you're willing to work with your fellow mate. Um, so play a heroic, play a nightfall, play a raid with anyone. Um, do something, even if you're not in a clan or you're not in our clan specifically. Um, do something. Go find an LFG. Try and maybe get a static raid team. Those are some of the best experiences that you can have in Destiny. Just chilling with 5 or 6 guys that you know and just playing. I actually have really good experience with that. Um, so just do something for the community. That's all. Where can people find you, Christian? Do you have anything that you need to link? Social media? Anything like that? They want linked?
Uh, no, not at this time.
Alright. If you need me, you could probably just find me asking through Order of Saint 14 if you're not in the clan. If you are in the clan, you can easily find me through GroupMe. Alright, see you guys.
Thank you.